Hello there and welcome to the Merseyside Derby review, thoughts, everything like that. Haven't really got a train of thought in my mind right now, but we're just going to go into it and just assess sort of what happened in the game, key points, and just that obviously that ridiculous ending to the game as well. Also, slight cameo today by my cat, because it's radiator season and she wants to be warm. She wants to be warm. So yeah, she's just going to chill out there and that's it really. So yeah, she's a good cat. Anyway, Liverpool versus Everton. It was going to be a difficult match anyway. I thought it was going to be a difficult match, and it turned out to be a difficult match. People I've spoke to today that are opposition fans, like at work and stuff like that. So we've got Arsenal fans, Sunderland fan, who's actually very level-headed, Man United fans, and stuff like that. People say, and it's like, whoa, you struggled against Everton? Really? It's different, right? Because it's always different when it's your rival. This is your derby. This is our derby. It's always difficult. And it was a difficult game. Everton didn't turn up just to long ball it and everything like that, like we've seen in the past, like when they were under Big Sam and stuff like that as well. They didn't come to do that. They implemented a game plan and they implemented it very well. They passed the ball around well, and in some instances they were actually better than us. They were better than us at getting the ball moving quickly. They were better than us. They were better at snuffing out our attack than we were at first at snuffing out theirs. They were very good at getting their attacks going. And man of the match, massively deservedly, has to go to Alisson. Because without Alisson, I dread to think what that scoreline would have been against us. I really, really honestly do. I can't put it into words. And people probably will have put it into better words than I will, but I can't put into words just how magnificent a performance from Alisson that was. The defence did well, but they also did poorly in some areas as well. They were getting exposed a little bit by the movement and trickery of Richarlison. They were getting exposed a little bit by Walcott making driving runs into the box. I was a little bit fearful of Ademola Lookman coming on because I've seen him play, seen some games that he played when he was in the Bundesliga, I think it was. The dude's got electric pace, quick feet, good dribbling, and he likes to get into the box and provide assist or try on a shot himself. He's a young lad, young talented lad, and when he came on, he replaced Walcott. I was quite fearful of that, to be honest. I really was. I was really, really quite fearful. But thankfully, also it wasn't like earlier that day, like the North London derby. There wasn't like fights kicking off left, right, and centre, and like getting a sending off like there was in that game. It seemed to be there was a little bit of fight, a little bit feisty between both the teams, but it wasn't over the top. And it actually does kind of make me glad that Henderson couldn't play this game. Not because I wouldn't have wanted him in as club captain, but I wouldn't have wanted him to have a situation like he did at Watford, where he lost his head and he got sent off, got a second yellow. That being said, we did get the midfield sort of that I wanted. The only difference I would have made to make it go totally creative would have been to have Naby Keita on the pitch instead of Wijnaldum. But I can't complain because we were solid. I'm listening to Graham Souness after the game. There's absolutely no disrespect to Graham Souness. He's a Liverpool legend, absolute legend, and he's saying that we look pedestrian. We look worse than we did last year. And while I agree stylistically that we are playing a very different style of football to the one that we had last year, this style has helped us pick up points where we probably would have lost. And you can only credit like Jurgen Klopp for that, and the team as well. The team have worked so hard to keep that at a clean sheet. Joe Gomez with the absolute off the line clearance. That is the off the line clearance of dreams. With I can't remember who came flying in just as he got a toe on the ball, and someone comes flying in and it goes out and it's out for a goal kick. unbelievable because I'm looking at that thinking, oh, what the hell? It was a header from. Was that the header from Andre Gomez or whatever his name is? Andre Gomez, I think his name is. It might not even be that, but for Everton, he headed it point blank. Alisson saved it. It kind of went back to Gomez, but he was falling to the floor. It hit his face. It was rolling towards the line. You've got Trent Alexander-Arnold come sprinting this way. Joe Gomez is coming another way, hooks his foot round it, and then whoever the Everton player was that knocked it out of play, knocked it out of play, and it was still 0-0 at that point. We started to, I felt that in the first half that Shaqiri was our best player. I felt that he was the one trying to create a lot. I'm going to come on to Salah and Firmino a little bit later on, but both weren't as involved as I wanted them to be, and I think the clear reason for that, it's clear to everybody, but we'll get to that a little bit later. Second half's a little bit more even, but we're also starting to try and, I think the main thing we were trying to do is keep the possession, recycle and see what we can do going forward, and we were getting snuffed out. We weren't having the same sort of joy that they were having getting in and around our back line. We were lucky that we have a very, very world-class defender in Van Dijk, a very good young defender in Joe Gomez, and a world-class goalkeeper as well. Because, honestly, with any other goalkeeper, with Karius, Mignolet, whoever, probably would have lost that game. And that's just how it is. Alisson is absolutely fantastic. He is brilliant. Van Dijk, brilliant. Gomez, brilliant. And he will be for years. Trent as well was pretty good. I think he was much more improved in his last couple of games. However, we just couldn't. We were knocking on the door, and we just couldn't do it. We just couldn't do it at all, and it was really frustrating. I felt that Firmino should have been taken off a long time before he did actually get taken off. And, well, actually, I'm going to come to Firmino a little bit properly a little bit later on. So we started going into subs, right? Naby Keita was the first sub on, and he came on for Shaqiri. I was disappointed in this sub. I felt that we could have easily had Shaqiri and Naby Keita on the pitch and maybe substituted someone else. Now, I know that maybe unbalances the midfield a little bit, and it puts a lot more pressure on either Wijnaldum or Fabinho, whoever stayed on. But I would have loved to have seen both of those guys on the pitch at the same time, because I think that would have increased our creativity. I really do. I think that would have given us that little bit of a boost that we needed. That first substitution didn't really change a great deal. The formation didn't change or anything like that. You didn't really see where the impact was going to come from. Salah goes off for Daniel Sturridge. Salah was extremely isolated in this number 9 position up front, and I've still got issues with that. I've got issues with the fact that I know that we moved him closer to goal last season, but we had Firmino and Mane up there as well. Now, we've got Salah up there basically sort of almost on his own if we're playing a 4-2-3-1. Our wide player in this instance would have been Shaqiri. Through the middle would have been Firmino. And on the left, it's Sadio Mane. For me, this doesn't work. For me, if you're going to do this, there's a quick switch. There's a switch. If you want to play 4-2-3-1, I feel that the way to do it is put Bobby Firmino back up top, put Salah back out on the right-hand side, and put Shaqiri in that middle bit. Because you put someone like Shaqiri in, with all of his vision, you saw the sort of passes that he's doing, the passes over the top, the passes on the floor. He's got that range. I am not saying that Firmino hasn't, but Firmino hasn't played that role since maybe his first season with Rodgers, when he was here. Other than that, I think he played that role, and I think it was even a little bit more advanced, though. The problem that you get with Firmino in that role, he's dropping deeper. And when he's dropping deeper into spaces where, like, Wijnaldum and Fabinho are, you're not getting the best out of Bobby Firmino. So people, when pundits turn around and say, oh, he's off the pace, he's not looking good and stuff like that, totally agree. He might be off the pace. He might not be looking good. But he's also not in that position where he absolutely thrived. And that's where he needs to go back. We had I can't even remember, like 44 goals or something like that Salah scored last year. He's not in the position that he was in when we got him. Now he's playing up front. And while it takes his defensive responsibilities away from him, that he didn't have to do anyway last year, I think that this is just absolute. I think that it needs to go. If you're going to play a 4-2-3-1, put Salah back on the right-hand side and put Firmino up top, Shaqiri in behind. That's what I would do. I don't know if anyone else agrees. Let me know. So, we've gone through that substitution. Sturridge comes on for Salah. Starts to look a little bit more dangerous. There was a little bit of a penalty shout, but it wasn't given when he went down in the box. I don't think the tackle was strong enough to warrant a penalty shout anyway, so probably the right decision that it wasn't given. We were looking more dangerous, and it was just as time ticked on, it just looked like it wasn't going to happen. Wasn't going to happen at all. And then finally, I think it was the 85th minute or something like that, Bobby Firmino gets subbed off for Divock Origi. And I'm telling you now, no word of a lie, my first reaction was, I thought we'd sent him on loan. I did. I don't know why, and I'm pretty sure he's played like as some substitute appearances this season. I honestly just, in my mind, I was just like, I could swear he was in the German league or something, but that was last year. So when he came on, I was shocked. I was really, really shocked, and I was like, this is a literal roll of the dice. If this works, masterstroke, unbelievable, lucky as well, definitely. If this works, I remember one of his first moments when he came on was up on part of a counter. Everton had pushed loads of players forward, and then they got the ball to Origi. He dinked it past the defender and sprinted past him, got across into the box, and Mane just couldn't get anything on it. But that looked positive. I was like, okay, maybe something could happen here. Maybe something could happen. Gets all the way to 90 minutes. It gets to 94 minutes, 95 minutes, and you're just looking at it. And literally at one point, I remember Trent Alexander-Arnold fired that ball in to the box, right? It gets headed out. Van Dijk tries to hit a volley and slices the ball, and I literally went like this. I got up out of my chair. I wasn't even looking, and then I heard the commentary. Van Dijk sliced the ball. It's hit the bar. As soon as the commentator said it's hit the bar, I turned around. I look at my screen. It's hit the bar, and then it's like I looked at it. I was like, nah. Pickford, for some reason, gets the ball, brings it back into play somehow. So it sort of hits the bar, but hits him, and then it hits the bar again. Origi, though, this is what I loved about Origi. This is what I loved about this, right? Because when that ball got hit by Van Dijk, and I had to watch the replay for this, when this ball got hit by Van Dijk, Origi, and I think Sturridge might have been Sturridge, can't remember, were well onside. They were well onside, well in front of the last defender, whoever it was. I think it was Yerry Mina. So when he hit that ball, Origi, first thing he does is he runs towards the ball, and he's like stood in front of the goalkeeper, almost like this, watching what's going to happen. If that ball comes back, bang, he's ready. Luckily, he was in that position to do that, heads it in, and I was looking at it. When I looked at it, I was like, that's offside, no way, because I hadn't watched the whole thing. I hadn't watched all of it. So when I came back to it and it's a goal, Jurgen Klopp is sprinting Jurgen Klopp is sprinting full pelt at Alisson, and Alisson's face is just like, yeah, bring it, come on, absolutely. Like, I couldn't believe it, honestly. I've never heard on TV Anfield sound like that. I've never heard that before. I've never heard it. Absolutely, the TV cameras shaking like they were. Divock Origi it keeps getting called the forgotten man, and honestly, not that I'd forgotten about him, I just thought we'd loaned him out. That's just how it is. Yeah, look, let's not even lie about it. Kind of did forget about him. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say, no, I knew about Origi. Totally, absolutely. But it actually brings to close another chapter for him personally, Origi personally. Origi was on fire a couple of years ago. Origi was the guy that we were like, you know what? At one point, I remember saying, I can't remember if I'd done it in a video or not, I was like, we could sell Sturridge because we've got Origi. He was on absolute fire. And I never forget, when we beat Everton 4-0, we were coming to the end of the Europa League, getting ready to go to, I think we were either in the semis, or we were getting ready to go to the final. I think it might have been the semis. And Origi was massive for us. He was so good. He was really, really good. He was on fire, almost everything he touched. I'll never forget, there was a goal, I think it might have been against Southampton at one point, and he's on the left-hand side, on the outside of the box. He cuts in, but he doesn't cut in a great deal. He's still on the outside of the box, on the left-hand side. He just curls one in from there. And I was just like, this guy has got potential. And then Funes Mori, who used to play for Everton, don't think he does anymore, don't think he's got anything to do with Everton anymore, absolutely red card fouled him in that 4-0 win. Since then, he hadn't been the same player. Now, I'm not going to go on and say that Origi can use this and go and be that player that he was and maybe even be better. I'm not football intelligent enough to even be able to say, yeah, Origi can carry on and say, and he can, he could be the striker that that option that we've needed. He could actually be that option that we need, though. When things aren't working with Firmino, things aren't working with maybe Sturridge, or things aren't working up front with Salah, he's an option, if anything. But what he proved was, I think he's actually just closed that chapter now. And I'm hoping that actually gives him a little bit of a springboard to feature a bit more for Liverpool. Now that I've remembered he's still with us, I actually hope to see Origi, because I'll never forget when we got him, and that season when he's like near the end of the season and he started doing really, really well, and he was so vital for us in getting victories and scoring really good goals. And then he got that horrific injury from Funes Mori. I honestly hope that Origi can take this and he can move forward and just maybe, I don't know, can he actually rebuild his Liverpool career? I'd love to see it, honestly. I really would. And it's a great option to have. If he's there, he's got good pace, he's a big lad, he's got a good shot on him as well, he's intelligent, he's got a good football IQ, I think, anyway, as far as that goes. But brilliant. Such a buzz to win it, but so draining to have watched it, honestly. I think after that, I posted something on Instagram and I went to bed. I was drained. I really was drained. But yes, so we come out 1-0 victors in the end. We really pushed our luck. But I feel that did we deserve it? I don't know. Ref could have blown up at any time, but he gave us, it was 94 minutes. Oh, cold shiver. Ugh. But it was meant to be 94 minutes. We got 96 minutes. It's one of them. I think they did some time wasting, so the ref stopped the clock. I can't. I don't make these decisions, but I'm just glad they went our way. So, this has been a really long video, and I thank you so much if you've stuck with it, watching it even this far. If you have, thank you ever so much. Merseyside derby's over. Now we're on to Burnley Wednesday. I'll be doing a preview for it at some point. It might actually hit on Wednesday, though. So, yeah, stay tuned for that. Thanks ever so much for watching, as always. Liverpool's still red, as it always will be. Thank you once again. I'll catch you later.